So in this run, I was like decent to farts. I didn't like challenge him or anything, but I wasn't like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. And then I went home with Vincent. And then I kicked him twice because that last ending made me want to die a little bit. So the fallout shelter produced no sound. I fell into an uncomfortable sleep. Fuck you, Vincent. That last ending made me so uncomfy. And I just need to work some of that out. I got up and charged at him from the right side. He was blind in that eye. I hoped I could use it to my advantage. But it was short-lived as I felt myself getting kicked in the leg. I turned my head and looked at Farts. That shit-eating grin. Vincent put his boot on my chest and smirked. Nice try. He pulled out a handgun from the back of his pants and aimed it at my head. He looked at the other person for a moment. Thanks, baby. He grinned and pulled the trigger. Okay, I'm at the bar, and I introduced myself. He was being nasty about Vincent's stuff. He turned to leave, and I said wait, instead of just leaving too. I ain't gonna be nice with ya. I looked at him trying to find words. Vincent paused and looked me over, almost as if a light went on in his head. You want a one-night stand? Vincent cocked his head to the side with a large smirk across his face. That's not what I said. Vincent put his hand under my chin and pushed my head up, forcing me to look at him. Really? Because that's what I can see all over your face. Maybe I do. Really? He looked at the other guys in the bar, one of them quickly looking away from him. You got more stones than them, Vincent said, pointing at me. I felt my face heat up. I gotta respect someone who asks for what they want. He held out his arm and I wrapped my hand around it. His arm was thick and muscular. It felt like only a moment until we were at his house. Yikes. Yikes. Are you fucking crazy? I have to be, honestly. With the shit that I've done. Yes. I could snap your neck like a twig. What the fuck, bro? Why does he have a knife? Don't rip my pants. Oh, y'all want to tell me what to do? Vincent dragged his knife on my pants. He lifted up the knife and forced it into my I didn't even get into the fucking bunker and I died. Shit. I let out a loud scream and he pushed his hand over my mouth. You were fun. Now you seem to be losing your flair. Shit, hasn't even been a night. I could feel my tears rolling down my face and running into his hand while he held me in place. He pushed the knife deeper and I tried to kick my legs. Let's try something else. He pulled out handcuffs from his pocket and snapped them around my wrists. You're not going anywhere. He pulled me off the bed and I hit the floor. What are you doing? I screamed. I didn't know if anyone could hear me. Whatever the fuck I feel like. Vincent growled as he pulled the knife out. I screamed as I felt the dull blade tear back out of my skin. He tore through my clothes like paper. I let out a hard sob as I saw the damage done. The small scratches from the blade all over my legs. He forced my legs down. Ugh, gross. Ew! Oh, I didn't die. He stabbed me. And I didn't die. Interesting. I guess I'll just die here. No matter what I do. Alright, I guess I'll let him cut my pants off. Hey, I ain't gonna do anything, you fucking liar. Not too bad, at least. Can't blame a guy for liking rough sex, right? I mean, here's the thing about that. You need consent. This is something that absolutely needs to be discussed beforehand. Please don't just go carrying hunting knives around and pulling them on one-night stands and expecting everything to be okay. That's not okay. It's weird. It's weird. Vincent pushed me down on his bed and scraped my jeans. If you rip those, you're paying for them. Vincent's eyes shifted down to me. He let out a low chuckle. I'll buy you whatever you want. Vincent tore through my jeans, leaving small scratches on my skin. He looked at the small cuts and ran his tongue over the scratches. Disgusting. Does it hurt? I nodded, but I put up my hand. Don't stop. Ew. I woke up the next day with a heavy, thick arm draped around me. I cuddled into Vincent's chest as his hand swept through my hair as he woke up slowly. He looked at the time and rubbed his eye. I better get going. I leaned away from him and he nodded. You wouldn't want to be caught walking out of here. Vincent smacked my ass hard as I got out of the bed. Hey! I could feel a blush creeping up on my face as I put my clothes back on. I looked at the tattered jeans on the ground. Vincent stood up and tossed a pair of sweatpants at me. Take those. I expect them back. I felt my blush grow. Are you still blushing around me? I saw you naked already. Yeah, well, I wasn't expecting you'd want to see me again. Why wouldn't I? I brushed my shirt against his face, trying to swat him away, and he sniffed it. Leave that one with me. I like the way you smell. Ugh. Fine, but you're buying me a new shirt, too. Deal. Vincent tossed me one of his shirts. An old band shirt. You look really cute now. Vincent got out of bed. You have a good day now, darling. Vincent waved at me and I nodded. Do I just leave? You too. I reached for a door and I heard Vincent make his sound. No, of course not. Of course not. Pretty sure it's 9-0. Okay. Did I really want to kill him? Yeah. Yes. Fucking... I guess. I looked at the gun and held it out for him to take. You fucking idiot. You really think I would fill this with something you could kill me with? Vincent yanked the gun from my hand and tossed it away. What the fuck? Why the fuck did you do that? God damn it. He grumbled to himself. He seemed agitated and confused. I opened my mouth to speak, but he put his hand up. Don't. Don't say a goddamn fucking thing to me right now. Vincent looked at the weapons locker and put his hand on the open door. How'd you know the code? You put it out in the open, duh. He seemed to be talking to himself. What should I do? I got up quietly and put my hand on his back. He stiffened as I felt his skin. Don't. He warned, but I didn't listen. I'm sorry, I said as I ran my hands down his muscular back. He stood perfectly still, listening. It takes some serious fucking balls to aim a gun at your captor. You don't know what I could have done to you. We do know what would have happened. Coincidentally. Vincent spoke in a low, thoughtful manner. He was thinking about what he was going to do with me. I shuffled around him and looked at his face. I'm sorry. I'll do whatever you want. Please. He looked to the side and hissed out of his mouth. You can't just do whatever you want, he said as I rubbed my head under his chin. He let out a low growl but seemed to be happy. I know that. I just wanted to get away from me. I paused and looked at the gun. That gun didn't make me free. I looked up at him and pawed at his chest. I don't want to get away. Tell me what I can do to make it up to you. He gripped my hair and, yep, that makes sense. Yep. He pet the top of my head. Tight. He doesn't seem angry anymore, and I was glad. He let me go as I shuffled back to the wall. He locked up his weapon locker again, this time with a padlock. I wasn't going to try it, but I could see his concern. Go to sleep. Vincent patted my head again as he passed by. I mean, it's better than slapping me as he passed by, I guess. Vincent wandered into the bunker. Sup, Vincent? Vincent looked frustrated and he kneeled down and unlocked me from my cuff. What are you doing? Can't a guy unlock you without the 20 questions? It was one question. I flinched at his loud tone and he stiffened. I can't control my anger when it's this close. He paused, his eyes shifting around, looking for the words. Vincent bit back what he was going to say and didn't complete his thought. What's close? Maybe if I asked myself, he'd respond. Full moon. He let out a low, animalistic growl as he sat down next to me with a soft thud. Vincent looked at me and bit back his words again. What's wrong? I tried to sound strong, but my words came out in a stutter anyways. Fucking hell. The 20 questions. Vincent's aggressive tone didn't hide anything from me. You look like a hurt animal lashing out at people who are trying to help you. Vincent sealed his lips tight. He knew I was right. All right, smartass. Vincent let out a heavy sigh. I wanted to say sorry. His low, angry tone turned soft and dark. For this. Vincent motioned in my direction, his eye pausing at every cut. Every part of me that was out of place. Any part that was cut or bloody or broken. And in the end, he was the one that did this to me. He was the one who put me here. He hurt me. One day, there will be a cure for my dumb bitch syndrome. One day. Maybe I was crazy, but it's okay. It's really not. I forgive you. I really don't. He tucked his face in his arms. He hasn't done anything for me to forgive him? Like, just coming in and being like, sorry. That sucks for you. That, more than not enough. He sounded dejected. What were you expecting? Shit, I don't know. Maybe you screaming at me? Telling me to fuck myself? Fuck off, Vince. You're the one who fucking put me here. Vincent tried to imitate my voice. He did a poor job of it. I stifled a laugh. Laugh it up, pup. You're not going to laugh very long. Not after... He stopped himself and bit his bottom lip. Vincent put his head down on his arms. You're dancing around the point. I reached out and started to stroke his hair. It looked like it would be rough. His soft hair slipped through my fingers like silk. I ran my hands through his hair, petting him lightly. Hopefully he wouldn't be angry. My hands weren't the cleanest things. Vincent leaned into my touch, letting off a low sound of pleasure. I kept my hand on his head, and I felt something growing under my hand. Is he growing ears? Your ears. What? He swatted my hand away and put his hand on top of his head, feeling for himself. God damn it. I want to touch them. No, fuck off. Catch his tail. Oh my god. I'm gonna pet him anyways. I reached out to pet his ears and it twitched to the side when my fingers touched it. I giggled softly. His warning went on deaf ears, but he didn't seem to mind as much as he let on. I said, fuck off. His tail was moving side to side. Jesus, it's cute. It won't be so cute when I'm... What's wrong? There's a reason why I brought you here. I looked at my injuries. I told you I don't care, for some reason. So what about it? When I turn into a werewolf... I snorted. What was he talking about? Why am I questioning that? He's grew ears and a tail. You're kidding, right? Ears and a tail! Already! Oh my god. Vincent looked at me deadpan. He just pointed at his ears and I put up my hands. Right? Point taken. I go after one person. The first bastard I see, usually. Vincent gripped his hands and looked at them. But I learned to lock myself down here so I don't go looking around anymore. That's why you're here. Why don't you just let me go? Vincent paused, thinking and looking down. He looked at his hands with a somber expression and shifted his gaze back to me. His ears receded back, his tail gone. What? You want to be let go that badly? Vincent got up and leaned over me. I nodded my head and he ran his hand through my hair. He pushed his hands against my throat and squeezed. It'll be over in a few seconds. No! I started to see stars as I put my hands on his arm. He wasn't killing me. I felt something warm hit my hand. What? I gripped his arm. Vincent. What? I passed out. It felt like an eternity of darkness. I just wanted to talk to Vincent again. It felt like a dream watching the wolf in front of me. He turned his back on me and started to walk away. Where the fuck am I? I wanted to stop him, but... Don't go. I screamed into the darkness. I woke up in a cold sweat and looked around. I was in less pain. All my wounds were covered. I was in a hospital room. There were nurses and doctors that roamed around me. The police asked what happened to me. I told them I didn't remember. I did. I remembered everything. They talked about the person who dropped me off. A tall man with a lot of scars. I told them he was a friend. A friend. I felt my tears well up around my eyes. I wanted to leave. It was a few days before they discharged me from the hospital. I was just on my way out when a nurse handed me an envelope. Her words came like a buzzing in my ears as she spoke. I shook as I opened the envelope. There was a note inside, an attempt at good handwriting, simple words. I stared at the note as I clutched it in my hand. Have a good life. I feel like that's been the best ending I've gotten in the franchise so far. Just being let go, no strings attached. Adios. Not too bad. Okay, so there's 5 more endings. I liked that one the most. But I guess we'll figure out the other ones. So what happens if I do the same thing and say nothing instead of forgiving him for this bullshittery? I stayed quiet. I was his prisoner after all. He hurt me. That didn't mean I was going to forgive him right away. Well, that's all. I looked up at him. Why am I down here? There's a reason why I brought you here. Yeah, we know all that. Well, then let me go. Oh, I was wrong about you. He stood up and growled angrily. You just want to get out of here. Yes, and I don't blame you. His somber tone gone. But I can't let you out of here. And fucking frankly, I suddenly don't give a fuck what you think of me. He opened his weapons locker and picked out a wooden bat, slinging it over his shoulder. How dare I not forgive you for all the shit you pulled? You want to be let go so badly? Well, darling, I would love to release you from your goddamn earthly bonds. I jumped up from my spot and tried to run. A gunshot ran out in the bunker as I felt my knee give way. I don't feel like fucking chasing you. I screamed as I held the bullet wound. I felt the blood dripping between my fingers, and he kicked me in the stomach to get me to turn over. He pushed the bat against my nose. You know how many people's skulls I've caved in with this baby? He started to push harder, and I whimpered, trying to crawl away. Hey, you're not going anywhere. I could feel the wood smash into my nose with one swift movement, breaking the bone. I let out a high-pitched scream as the blood filled my senses. Blood dripped down my face as he pushed his boot into my sternum. I could feel the air pushing out of my lungs as I put my hands weakly on his boot. Vincent clenched his teeth and pulled the bat back, smashing my arm. I let out a scream as the blunt force shattered my bone. The pain radiated up my arm and made me feel sick. I can't believe you. He let out a frustrated growl. Me? What was that? Fuck off. Vincent brought up the bat and smashed my teeth into my face. Who gave you the fucking permission to talk? I coughed. It was all bone and blood. The world was spinning around me. But I wasn't dead. You're going to die, I heard him say as my ears rang. I went too easy on you. I fucking trusted you. What do I get in return? Fuck off. I felt his thumbs over my eyes as he pushed them into the sockets. Gross. I could feel my eyes bursting under the pressure of his hands. Fuck you. Fuck you! I tried to scream. It was all blood. Just kill me. I felt something tear through me like a dog. God, this guy's such a pissy little bitch. So the last couple times I've been going into the weapons locker and getting the gun, and then he comes in and takes the gun. But I'm wondering if I just don't. Like, his affection is as high as it can be at this point. And it gets higher when we do this, but I'm wondering if there's like another ending we can do if we just like don't mess with this. No, okay. Never mind. Okay, so maybe we catch his tail because he said don't touch my ears. I grabbed his tail and his ears and shoulders shot straight up. Hey, careful. He curled his tail around himself and looked down. It's ridiculous. Okay, so if we do that, he lets us go. So why take someone down here? Why can't you just lock yourself down here? It's the bloodlust. If I don't get a fair amount, then, well... Have you heard of the Southside Cabin Massacre? I rubbed my chin. I think I heard about that on the news. A few years back, they said a pack of wolves murdered 16 people. That was me. What? I went a year without killing someone. Well, on my full moon nights. I looked at him, narrowing my eyes. Look, I'm not very good at self-control. You can say that again. But it's what happens when I try to be conservative with my murdering. People still need their ass beat, all right? Are you trying to convince me or yourself? He punched me in the arm and I rubbed it. Ow? Don't be a baby. Don't hit that hard. Fuck off. Yes, you do. Vincent sighed and leaned against the wall. No one wants to hear me bitch about life. It's shit and we all know it. He stood up and dusted off his jeans. You're not going to be around much longer at any rate. I'm sorry. He sounded upset. Vincent turned towards the door. I didn't want him to leave me alone in here. Let's try this one. I have to be alone, Vincent said, turning his back to me. He pulled a black leather collar out of his pocket and gripped it hard. I've made it pretty clear that I can't take care of anything. Or anyone. I mean, you did let him get stabbed, it's fine. He said, throwing it into the wall. It bounced off the wall with a hollow sound and hit the floor. He stared blankly down at it. Not even myself. He said as he reached for the door. I jumped up and grabbed his arm, stopping him from opening the latch. Stop. Please, stop. I begged as I grabbed his arm. I don't want you to leave. Vincent pulled his hand back as if he was going to backhand me, but stopped. I didn't flinch. He reached down and put his hand on my cheek. Oh, what a sweet, sentimental moment. He was going to smack the shit out of me. Changed his mind at the last second. What a nice guy. Don't look at me like that. You're going to make me change your mind? It sounds like you already have. He kneeled down in front of me and wrapped his arms around my waist. He buried his face into my stomach and let out a soft sound. I put my hand on his head and ran my fingers through his hair. Stop. Stop being nice to me. I don't deserve it. You really don't. I put my hands on his shoulders and pushed his arms open. You do. You don't. I'm not the one that's being broken here. I am. I said, leaning forward and hugging him hard. You're too hard on yourself. Is he, though? Is he? It's one thing to go out and find people to murder so that you don't go and murder a whole bunch of people. Okay, that's a thing that happens. You can go and find a whole bunch of shit people and bring them into the bunker. I get that. He didn't have to torture us. He didn't have to do the awful shit that he did to us. He just did anyways. That was just part of the fun of it. But no, he's too hard on himself. Absolutely. He needs to have some self-compassion. He wrapped his arms around me and squeezed. He held me tightly. But there was a gentle hesitance in his embrace, making sure that he wouldn't squeeze too roughly. He held on, like he'd never see me again. I'm always hard on myself. He muttered into my shoulder. He pulled back slightly and I leaned in. He met me halfway and kissed my lips. His hands were shaking and he pulled away. Fuck, what time is it? Vincent got up and held his head. No, fuck. Vincent growled and looked around quickly. Vincent, what's wrong? He put his hands on his weapons locker and punched in the code. Fuck. He growled as he pulled down the rack of guns. They banged loudly on the floor and I looked up at him. I started, but he grabbed my throat. Shut up. He growled quickly and jammed me into the locker, shutting it behind him. I grabbed the grate and looked at him. What are you doing? I feel like it would have taken just as much time to get me out the door and shut the door. Those nails, though. Fucking, that's like one of my favorite shapes. I'm saving you. He growled with his head down. You're the only one worth saving. I love you. I grabbed the fencing between me and him. Back up. He banged on the doors. Well, back up, dumb bitch. I backed up like he told me to. Vincent. He howled into the night, his loud cry bouncing against the walls. I closed my eyes and waited for that night to be over. Maybe I should reach forward and get my face slashed off. Oh, there's a post-credit scene. Vincent leaned on the counter and sighed. Ugh, shit. He grumbled softly into his chest. He was just meeting his friend for a drink, but he was always exhausted after a full moon. He pushed the ice in his whiskey around. Where is he? He felt someone tap him on the shoulder and Vincent closed his eye. Who are you? Vincent grumbled into the glass as he sipped it. Is that Sano? Is that? You've been talking to one of my patients. I just wanted to come see you. Vincent's eye narrowed and he spun on his chair, growling low at the man in front of him. Yeah, what of it? What patient? I just wanted to see who is making the scratch marks all over her body. Vincent didn't like the way this guy was talking to him. Vincent shot out of his seat and advanced on him. Yeah, what of it? Vincent said slowly, his voice dripping in malice. He knew exactly who the other man was looking for. He backed up into the darkened hallway leading to the bathroom. Vincent slammed the man into the wall, his hand firmly around his neck. Leave her alone. I love that they have the exact same fucking haircut. Love this going on. Vincent growled as he pushed down on his throat. His face reddened with excitement as his hand gripped Vincent's arm. I wasn't interested in your relationship with the doll. Doll? I was interested in. A black tongue slid slowly across the other man's lips. Oh, is Sano trying to swoop in and steal my man? What the fuck? Vincent dropped the doctor and leaned back. What? I'll be seeing you again. This isn't over. He put his hands on Vincent's chest and tried to push him against the wall. What? Vincent snorted and shoved him back with greater force, a moan escaping the doctor's lips. Your name, Vincent demanded. The doctor pulled out a card and put it into Vincent's hand. Take care. His hand gripped Vincent's almost desperately. He quickly turned and walked into the main room. What does he mean Vincent's having a relationship with a doll? Like, okay, I remember that Sano made, one of the endings was that he could make you into a doll and keep you, and it was fucking weird. But why would Vincent have anything to do with that? What? He looked at the card and flipped it over. Sano. Yep. Who the fuck is this? Vincent grumbled to himself as he looked over at Lawrence. He looks like that shit fucking asshole dick face. He looks like fucking Derek. But I just want to stab him already, just based on that principle alone. How long have you been there? I didn't want to bother you. It's fine, better not to get tangled up in messes. Vincent pushed Lawrence playfully and nodded towards the bar. Come on, Law, let's grab a drink. Why did his shirt come off? Did you see that? It was like a split second. Right before the end, his shirt came off. I'm so confused. What? Why did Sano show up? And what did he mean you were messing with my patients? And what did he mean that he had a relationship with the doll? Did he turn me into a doll? Because there was no mention of what happened to me in this fucking locker. Did I get turned into a doll? Or did I become a patient of something? Like, did he give me to Sano? What is happening? Okay, I still have 3 endings left. Let's do this. Okay, so in this ending, I can see if I can catch him, or, because last time I said this, so I guess I'll just try to run up to him. Gotcha! I tackled him as hard as I could. He turned around. Despite my best efforts to tackle him, he didn't budge. I backed up, a smile creeping up on my face. Catch me if you can. His eyes widened as I teetered away. I looked stupid. I couldn't run very well, and I was in some pain. What else could I do to keep him here? I could hear him thumping behind me, and he tackled me back, sending us both sailing into the floor. You gotta be nuts. I just told you I was a werewolf, and you want to play games with me? Vincent rubbed his fingers against my lips. I opened my mouth. Ew. Ew. And then I bite him. Disgusting. I didn't want you to leave for some fucking reason. If I'm not gonna be here longer, then I want you. Vincent leaned down and nuzzled my neck, sniffing my skin. You're insane. Yes. Yes, I am. You have Stockholm or something. Yeah. Something's wrong. I laid on the floor like a wet noodle. Okay. And then he puts me back in the locker then. Oh, but I can reach out. Vincent, no. He scratched my arm and I took my hand back. Ow! It wasn't too bad, but I was feeling a bit dizzy now. Am I gonna turn into a werewolf? I sat down on the bottom of the locker as he paced around. He let out an ear-splitting howl as I held on tight for the rest of the night. That one night felt like an eternity, but I heard the door of the locker open and stared at Vincent's naked body. Are you okay? My mind snapped back to his face and I nodded quickly. Yeah, I'm fine. What about you? Vincent scoffed and went to the door. I'm always a little tired after transformation. I looked at my hand and cradled it. You scratched me. Vincent held my hand gently. I guess we'll be hunting together next full moon. What did he mean by that? What is this picture? This man is fucking disgusting. He opened the door to the bunker and sun flooded into the room. I've never had a packmate before. What happened to the farts? I thought farts was a packmate. Fuck that guy. Oh. Uh-oh. But no post-credit scene. Okay, 2 more endings. Oh. I pulled too many times. My vision was getting blurry. I looked down at my feet and saw nothing but blood. Ugh, shit. Okay. 1 more. Okay. I played through this way too many times. I have tried everything I can possibly think of. I can't get these 2 endings to trigger. I couldn't do it. So I looked up to see if I could find some sort of guide to get to these 2 endings. You can't get them yet. Here requires going to a completely different location, and this one requires actually going through somebody else's play. This requires an ending from Kane in order to get it. So we'll get those endings later, I guess. Until the next one.